Your boy's dying. Swear to God, if I get attacked by a goose. Hello, friends. I come to you at this truly God-forsaken time of the morning to do what I guess is a kind of vision quest. It is a 12-hour walk. I got this idea from the adventurer Colin O'Brady, who I had on the pod recently, and this is his new initiative to get people to do this. I'll talk more about why later, but I'm feeling a bit nervous. I'm feeling a bit like I need to get this done. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but now the reality of it is crashing in. I spent a while intention setting last night, as he recommends, and I feel like ever since I did that, it started to get more real. It started to get more oddly like I'm doing this for a reason, which I guess is the whole point of an intention. Anyway, I've got a bit of a drive to get to this trailhead, so I'm going to go. Future Michael here, and I will be guiding you through this experience. So if you listened to the podcast or you caught my video about it, I just quit my job to have a go at being a creative full-time, and I really felt like I needed to do some kind of rite of passage to commemorate that, to really reflect on that change, make it more real. So that's heavy on my mind as I start walking and walking and walking. The first part of this walk is beautiful, as you can see. The weather is perfect. I'm tuned into my intentions. I'm thinking about them first and foremost. I'm appreciating being in the silence, not checking social media, even the lack of music, which I thought would be difficult. It's really exactly what I was looking for. The first part of this exercise, it's really a honeymoon phase. It's childhood. It's being in your 20s. There's barely a shred of discomfort, unlike later. So I'm a couple hours in at this point. It definitely feels cleansing. It also feels like I can't believe how much further I have to go. And what's occurring to me right now is this feeling like there has to be a reason for everything, like a reason I'm doing this, a reason I'm out here, something I'm trying to accomplish. And in some ways that in and of itself is a really toxic thing. And just having the space to recognize that and try to let go of that for a little while is a beautiful thing. And it's so cliche, but it really does feel so good to be out in nature. It feels so good to just have all the noise turned off, to not be worried. Every time you think of an obligation, every time you think of something you have to do, to remind yourself that's exactly why you're doing this, to get space from all of that and reconnect with something a lot more basic, something that I definitely take for granted a lot. I mean, I'm feeling oddly grateful right now for the most basic of things, even though it's only been a couple of hours. 5 miles in, we're getting into the thick of it, but my mindset is still pretty dreamy, still pretty meditative. I'm coming up on a park in this little shire here. I did some journaling. I checked in with my intentions. 7 miles in, it's starting to feel long. I start looking for ways to entertain myself. I try to gamify saying hello to bikers. Good morning, that counts. And as you can see on my face, this is a key moment, my friends. This is where it goes from my idea of what this experience was to what it really is. Not just a mental activity, but a physical one. You think walking is easy? Let me tell you, if you are not conditioned to walk for 12 hours straight, I think I'm about 4 hours in at this point, your body is going to start letting you know, and my body is letting me know right now, that this is not just going to be a mental exercise. This is going to be physically challenging as well. My friends, we are rapidly approaching some kind of goose or turkey situation. I swear to God, if I get attacked by a goose on this goddamn walk. The elusive bird hunt. There it is. There it is. Mile 9, let's go. And I'm gonna get a high from this bike for this. It's going. Success. Can't really hear it, but I assure you, there was a small hello. Insight into my mental space at mile 10. I'm bargaining with myself. I'm starting to get sore. Right around now, I decide mile 12 is going to be my turnaround point. There's some creepy ass spider webs. Good lord. So at this point, there's an ambivalence. I want to keep going. I want to keep focused on what my intentions were, but I can't ignore that it's just getting really physical. I had lofty ideas about this, and now I'm at the point where everything just hurts. Maybe I'll derive something of value from that later, but... Mile marker 12, I almost missed it. Your boy is absolutely destroyed. Everything from the waist down hurts. Sitting on the side of the street looking highly suspect, but on one hand, what am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, no fucking idea where I am, just walking and walking and walking. But on the other hand, it sort of feels like these moments mean whatever you want them to mean. That there are these moments in life that you have no choice but to go through. But we can give ourselves these profound moments too. We can decide which moments matter. And if you're at a point in your life where you need a change, I would recommend this. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be, honestly. I didn't think just walking for 12 hours would be so difficult, but you hit this point where things start to hurt and you just have to keep going. I'm only halfway. Like, in a way, I feel like I'm done, but I'm nowhere near done. So it's also occurring to me that Colin O'Brady walked for 12 hours in Antarctica every day by himself for like 100 days or some wild shit like that. So, Colin, you're a savage of the highest order. I have no idea how you do this. And I think I'm going to walk back. I might pop into this spot and get some caffeine. Oh yes. Oh yes, I think I will. Weird how you walk around for half a day, and then you go to a gas station and you just kind of feel like an alien. About 7 miles from the car, in low-key panic mode because everything has been hurting for the past few hours or so. And it's so weird to just reflect on the fact that this is totally self-inflicted and that I could just tap out and just call an Uber right now or something. But of course I won't. No joke, this is turning out to be one of the harder things I've ever done. I don't know how people do like distance races and run marathons and shit, let alone how people like Colin O'Brady do what they do. I've been going in waves in terms of how valuable I think this is. I feel like I need an integration period or something to decide what my final thoughts are on it. But I've never really come away from anything difficult feeling like it was a waste of time. So I'm sure there is wisdom to be extracted. I'm sorry, but I have to emphasize how in pain I am at this point in the walk. I'm bargaining with myself every single step. I'm wondering if I can do it. I'm wondering if I might hit a point where I just can't move anymore. It really was that rough. Something like a 5K left. Dying. Your boy's dying. Same bench from closer to the beginning of the video. I probably said something false. Like I was feeling good, or I'm a couple hours or a few miles in or something. This is only like 2 miles from the trailhead. We'll roll the footage back. So I'm a couple hours in at this point. But my God, soreness isn't even the right word. Like everyone knows what it's like for your feet to hurt or your hip to hurt. But just everything below the waist is just an excruciating thud every single step, and honestly has been. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about it by now, but this is so unbelievably challenging. I am so fucking humbled. This has been really one of the hardest things I've ever done physically, and I'm reasonably athletic. I'm no super athlete, but I go to the gym, I run, and I am wrecked. Oh, one more fucking mile. I think that's it up there. Please, God. So wrecked. I'm gonna be damaged. Yeah, I have nothing interesting or profound or funny to even say. Funny what a day will do to your brain, to your memory, because I can almost convince myself that that wasn't the worst thing that I did. And I've had sort of similar experiences, I feel like, when I've done difficult things in the past. Like I did an ayahuasca retreat a couple of years ago, and in the throes of every session, I was like, I will never do this again. If I survive this, I will never do this again. And of course I did. And for those of you that aren't aware, usually those are multiple session retreats. But anyway, I'm feeling kind of the same way about this experience. There's this little flame inside that kind of is like, what's next? What are you going to do today? You're not just going to sit around today, are you? And of course, I probably will, because my lower body is still pretty wrecked. Honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, I am sore, but all in all, I'm not feeling that bad. But when I reflect back on yesterday now, I do think there was something special of the period between about 1 to 4 hours into the walk, because everything after that was really dominated by just physical discomfort and pain. So it made it really difficult to reflect on anything in a substantive way. And I'm a romantic, grandiose sort of person. So I had lofty ideas about what this was going to be. I wanted this to be a vision quest. I wanted this to be time to initiate myself, connect with purpose, especially in the wake of quitting a 7-year job. And within that period of time, maybe 1 to 4 hours in, again, remember this walk is with no media, with no music. I did, of course, stop and take video, but that really didn't ruin the sort of solitude. So all in all, I have to say I do for sure recommend a 12-hour walk style thing. It is going to get you into mental spaces and definitely physical spaces, depending how you do it, that are going to be insightful, that are going to take you places you haven't been. But that said, how you approach it, I think, is an important question, because this really can be like a high endurance exercise. That's what it wound up being for me. But it could also be a slower, more contemplative one. And if you want to go that route, plan it a little more ahead of time. Plan to take significant rests every hour or so, or whatever you think would be right for you. My problem is that I have this competitive streak, so I wanted to keep going, I wanted to keep moving, and then it turned into a challenge. As you saw in the video, there are mile markers out there, so I wanted to get to some arbitrary level that I consider to be significant for me. So depending on how you approach it, I think this can be a lot of different things. But I do absolutely think that it's highly powerful. Just creating these spaces, designing these times to do something out of the ordinary. And it's like I was trying to articulate when I hit mile 12 and decided to turn around, that in a sense, everything we do is not remarkable in a literal sense. Like really, I was just walking. I was just sitting on the side of a road. But the way that you do it The mental postures you get into are special, do change your life. Repeated mundane behaviors absolutely can be a portal to mind-altering, life-changing wonder. Think about mantras, think about meditation. I don't think I realized it at the time, but the combination of the physical challenge and the mental, seeing the postures your mind goes through, seeing how you bargain with yourself, seeing that you have the ability to push through all of that and finish, this really is the alchemy of life change. This really does show you that you're capable of more than you think you are. But you do have to go right up to that kind of chaotic edge to really know that. And I do think a 12-hour walk can achieve that. Definitely also little logistical things like paying attention to weather. I got lucky. It was a really nice day. It was in the high 70s, I think. Obviously, bring plenty of water, plenty of calories, because you are going to burn an insane amount of calories. You're going to burn off all of your sodium and sugar. It seems like you're generally going to burn off roughly 100 calories per mile. So if you're doing 20 plus miles like I did, you're burning 2,000 plus calories. So in summation, should you do it? I think the better question is, why do you want to do it? Do you want to do it as some kind of an endurance exercise, or do you want to do it to gain perspective? Do you want to do it as a sort of initiatory thing? And if your answer is endurance, it's pretty clear what you should do. You should just see how much ground you can cover. But if you want to do this for perspective, if you want to do this as a more initiatory vision quest kind of thing, do it slower, do it more contemplative, do it more meditative, and don't even pay attention to distance. Anyway, more adventures to come, I'm sure. If you have ideas of what you'd like me to try next, leave them in the comments. If you're going to do a 12-hour walk, let me know in the comments too. Much love, everybody, and we'll see you in the next transmission.